Morning students. Today we'll discuss on a topic that is post-colonialism, which has been prescribed for UG semester 6. Under paper 14, post-colonialism. The colonial characters in the literature were present since the early days of Renaissance. In Shakespeare's drama, the colonial characters were present, but they were not extracted because of the limitation of crystal canons in literature. The post-colonial literature became prominent only during the second half of 20th century. In early criticism, the relationship between colonialism and literature was not dealt with that yardstick. Literature has always invited the issue like race, gender and class, but it was not being perceived in relation to post-colonial leaning. Of late, literature and colonialism has provoked serious reconsiderations to each other. Literature is the bridge between the real and imaginary. Library text has become the medium of communication in education system. They are the part of other institutions like market. During the period of colonialism, they played a crucial role in construction of a cultural authority for the colonizers, both in the metropolis and in the colonies. Post-colonial literature gives impetus to travel literature. The travel writing became a popular genre among the writers. Different kinds of travelogues were written by the writers depicting the colonies, their culture, and the people. European travelers interpreted them through ideological filters. The people living in Africa are black. The black Africans were considered bestial both because of blackness with filth and dirt, and at the same time these supported the colonizers to justify their view to colonize and enslave them. The English Renaissance notion of beauty stressed on whiteness. This had been central to English views on beauty. England became the unspoken emperor of the colonial world, and the poets and the dramatists assumed the position of unofficial spokesperson of the colonialism. They championed the cause of converting the African and Asian nations as colony. They need to be civilized. The unfounded land and countries were discovered by the European and English sailors across the world. The virgin land and countries were compared with the virgin girls. The new colony conquered by England added a new jewel on the head of English crown. People and the colonized land were exploited at the will of the colonizer. This psychology of victory influenced the poets of England and other European nations. The plunder of conquered land has been compared by the enjoying of virgin's body. John Donne has described the erotic exploitation of a lover to a virgin beloved's beauty. In the poem of Donne, sexual relationship and colonial encounter becomes analogous to each other. As the colonizer advances the new land and discovers something novel, similarly the lover scatters head on beloved's body and finds her body unusual. Language and literature become a tool for the creating the colonial authority. The word like cannibal and hurricane were used for the colonized people. The literature written during 15th and 16th century echoed the music of colonialism. The colonized countries were figuratively presented as naked women and colonizers as the master of that beautiful woman. They were presented as submissive and docile. If they think to oppose the master, there was every possibility to be punished. In The Tempest, the character of Caliban is presented as docile idiot native. Prospero had the apprehension that he might attack his daughter's honor. He has been punished. The British colonizer during their early days considered Indian as mild Hindu. They considered the people of India as the appropriate case for loot and plunder. Colonialism. Of late, in recent post-colonial theory and practice, some critics feel that too much insistence on criticism may hamper the real taste of the text. The critics don't concentrate themselves on literature alone, but on other forces which shape criticism. They become too much obsessive in their analysis of colonial discourse. This situation obstructs the relation between material and ideological viewpoints in subject matters. The critics like Abdul Jan Muhammad and Banita Pari slammed the post-colonial theories like Homi Bhabha and Gayatri Spivak of neglecting material condition of colonial rule. The post-colonial theory is largely emerged from within English text and context of the literary articles. The wide gap of text from context is an old and continuing problem in literary studies. The liberal humanist orthodoxy argues that a great literature is always above politics and society. Revisionary English studies are more interdisciplinary and contextual. Further, post-colonial effect can be seen in the native land also. This has been highlighted in the play of Irish dramatists. In Brent Friel's play Translation, the colonial conflict in Ireland is represented as a contest over words and languages. In this play, the linguistic challenge to Ireland has been highlighted. The critics accused Friel of dissolving economic issues into the politics of language, but one thing is remarkable, that local Irish Gaelic was virtually wiped out. Gilbert reminds that a root meaning of translate was conquer. The English people tried to restructure the world of the colonized. They tried to impose the concept, images, and words of their own choice. The violent nature of European people is noticed mostly in the colony. However, the colonizers went after their victory, they always talked about carnivalism from the natives. This has been brilliantly illustrated by Gananath Abhishek's account of the contact between James Cook and his men and the Pacific Islanders. In this regard, Abhishekari has tried to read the mental map of the English people. These people, he noticed themselves possess cannibalism in their subconscious and had affinity with this word. The Hawaiians did not eat human flesh, but on the other hand, the people like Maori practiced cannibalism. They ate human flesh to celebrate the rituals of human sacrifice. But the Maoris exaggerated before the Europeans to give them mental fight. In this way, we can say that the critical analysis of post-colonial studies is of the history, culture, literature and modes of discourse that are specific to the former colonies of England, Spain, France and other European imperial powers. These studies have focused especially on the third world countries in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean islands and South America. Some scholars, however, extend the scope of such analysis also to the discourse and cultural productions of countries such as Australia, Canada and New Zealand, which achieved independence much earlier than the Third World War countries. Post-colonial studies sometimes also encompass aspects of British literature in the 18th and 19th centuries, viewed through a perspective that reveals the ways in which the social and economic life represented in that literature was tacitly underwritten by colonial exploitation. An important text in establishing the theory and practice in this field of study was Orientalism, which was published in 1978 by the Palestinian American scholar Edward Said, which applied a revised form of Michael Foucault's historicist critique of discourse to analyze what he called cultural imperialism. This mode of imperialism imposed its power not by force, but yet by the effective means of disseminating as subjugated colonies a Eurocentric discourse that assumed the normality and preeminence of everything Occidental. The term Orientalism is now sometimes applied to cultural imperialism by means of the control of discourse not only in the Orient but anywhere in the world.